Well, hello everybody. This is Daniel with Daniel's Bullion Coins. I have my sweet wife Ingrid here today,
Good morning.
and we're going to take some questions and talk about gold and silver today.
Wow, there is so much going on.
There's been some
It's
excitement this week.
always a lot
It's
going
always
on.
exciting, always something going on.
But let's talk about how Trump fired the Bureau of Labor and Statistics.
That was
lady.
hilarious. So we were
Oh,
working,
my
both of us were here at the
goodness.
shop
Yeah.
on Friday,
Yeah.
and we were really, really busy.
We're so busy.
Unpacking, cleaning shelves, and dealing with
Dealing with
customers, at the
customers
same
at the
time.
same time, yeah.
So we were overwhelmed. But when
Yeah.
the news came through that gold was up $60 at the time, customer
Yeah.
came in, wanted to know what the price of something was. I went and looked. Gold was up $60. So I took a quick click over to the news to see
Yeah.
what in the world was going on.
Yeah.
And the jobs report had come out. And instantly in my mind, I knew it was political. I
Yeah.
said, this is a political, deep state, whatever you want to call it, attack on the Trump administration. Because here we had Powell hold interest rates
Yeah.
at the same
Which we
level.
said he would, probably.
Which we knew he would. You know, we knew he would. Everybody knows
Dug
that
in.
he is dug in.
His
He's
heels are
more
dug
dug
in.
in than I would have ever imagined,
Oh, my
because he
goodness.
knew what that lady over at the Bureau of Statistics and Labor
Yeah.
was going to do. He knew.
Yeah.
And so she comes out a day or two later and has this horrible revision.
Yeah.
Not only does she have a terrible report for this month, but she revised the other months terribly
Right,
down,
right.
which was a shock to the market and everything.
Yeah.
And just like she planned, the media went right hand on hand with this. You watch
Yeah, of
any of the
course.
mainstream, lamestream,
The
fake
flying
news,
monkeys.
lying monkeys.
Flying
The lion monkeys, you know, the monkeys from
That's
Wizard
what
of
I'm
Oz.
saying. Yeah.
We keep going back to
Yeah.
that. But they're looping in tariffs. Oh, the
Yeah.
tariff war is bringing in
Such garbage.
massive job
Yeah.
losses, which
Such
is not true.
liars.
It's all political.
Yeah.
And you can even go back to the way we were leading up to the election in November.
Mm-hmm.
She was touting nearly 1 million new jobs,
Which is so
which is ridiculous. When
crazy.
150,000 new jobs is amazing. Now, this is over the course of leading up to
Right.
the election. The Biden-Harris administration was pointing to the jobs numbers.
Right.
That was their shining star, was those labor statistic numbers, which come to find out,
However-
soon as like 10 days after Trump won the election, she revised it
Yeah.
nearly 1 million
It was
numbers,
900,000, I think.
900,000, something like that, 900 and
Oh
something
my
thousand
gosh.
down. And so now here we are, he holds interest rates the same, and she's revising, which he should have been lowering interest
Oh
rates
my
on a
gosh.
number like that.
Yeah.
So this is all political
Yeah, it
hack.
is.
And the media
just-
is going right along with it and
Yeah.
attacking Trump in many different ways. Things
Yeah.
like, are you going to fire everybody who you disagree with?
I know, and that's such.
Never mind the clear,
that she's
blatant political
just pulling
hack
numbers
job that
out
this
of her
woman
hat,
has
yeah.
done. You know, there's no way you can deny it. You can
Right.
look at the numbers, you can look at but you see, the media
Yeah.
caters to people who just it's like toilet water being dumped in their head, in their brain.
Yeah.
They're not thinking for
No.
themselves. They're not looking into it for themselves
No.
and finding out that this woman was a political hack.
Yeah.
And that's why he fired her. He had no choice. And he left her in until she made it
Well,
abundantly
she's a
clear
liar.
that she's a liar and a cheat.
I mean, how can you put someone in that position and keep him there when they're going to lie?
Right, and they're going to distort things
Yes.
and really a treasonous act to try to bring down a presidency.
Oh,
I mean, it's really it's
gosh.
just
It's
as unjust
serious.
as it can
It
be.
really is.
Yeah.
And that goes along with the Federal Reserve. We want to talk about that, how the people are leaving.
Yes. Yeah, so somebody resigned from the Federal Reserve,
Ooh.
and that gives Trump an opportunity
Yeah.
to put a favorable person in so that the
Right.
dot plot will start to really
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, the feds, they plot what the odds are that each individual, I think there's 12 Fed chair under Jerome Powell that advise him.
Does he listen?
That's his scapegoat. You know, he says, well, we have a process that it's never any one person, or so it's this dot plot, and who is saying we should lower interest rates,
Right.
who's saying we should increase interest rates, and who's saying it should stay the same. And
Wow.
they plot that, and then they're able to average it together and presume what Jerome
Right.
Powell is going to do. And then, aside from that, you have parameters that you follow. If the economy's running really, really hot, you can raise interest rates. If the economy's running really, really slow, you can lower interest rates, and
Right.
that'll spur things.
Yeah.
Well, Powell has been doing the exact opposite. He was doing favorable
Yeah, of
interest
course.
rates for the Biden administration, and he's doing negative policies, hawkish policies, they call it, to hurt the Trump administration.
That's
And so someone quit in the face of all of that political. Someone in
Wow.
the chair under
Right.
Jerome Powell quit, which gives Trump an opportunity to put somebody in who will do the right thing
Right.
and
but is
grow the
Powell
economy.
gonna listen? I mean, that's the.
Well,
he needs
Powell's
to
no.
just get
I don't
rid
think.
of
I think he's
Powell.
yes.
I
Like
mean,
I've
his
been
heels
saying.
are dug in. He's not going to listen
Yes.
to the other 12.
His heels are dug in, and like I've said all along, come hell or high water, by the end of this fall,
Yeah.
Trump will either fire Powell or he will be pushed out. And when I say pushed out, the F-bomb has only ever been used once by a president, and it was used
Oh, dear.
Trump to Powell. And all the other things that Trump has,
yeah.
tweeted and things.
Right.
He's putting pressure on Powell
Right.
every which way that he possibly can. They're looking into this $3.1 billion remodeling
Yeah.
thing. They're looking into how Powell lied to Congress, and they're starting, to investigate that. So they're putting a lot of pressure on him. So there's this, but now Powell is positioning himself for being fired or quitting or whatever, so that he can write the book. I mean, he will do the.
Who is he accountable to? I mean,
Well, that's the thing. When the Fed was set up,
Yeah.
they had no accountability at all.
Right.
And
My mom always said they're not federal, nor are they reserve.
right, and there's no accountability to
No,
them.
that's
They set themselves up to be wholly
Yeah.
unto themselves. Sure, we go through this election process and
Right.
picking and electing and all that, but Powell, claims that he can't be fired. But so there's a
But
battle going on there.
he
Now the
can be.
entire Fed
Yeah.
could be done away with.
that's what we need to do.
Right, we could, but unfortunately, we don't have enough control of the House and Senate to do
Yeah.
something like that. So we're kind of stuck, and like we were talking about last week about the sidewalk and
Yeah.
the price inflation is going, and we need to have it hold hands with demand and wages. And what this does is it slows us down. It's like putting a gunny sack on the legs, the game you used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
play.
three-legged
and
race.
each person puts a leg into the
Yeah.
sack. Well, it severely hampers
Yeah.
productivity and wages. So then inflation starts to leave ahead without productivity and wages,
Yeah.
which is what Powell wants to do. He
Yeah, of
wants to
course.
bring the Trump administration down. He sees
By
that
the
the
economy,
tariffs thing
yeah.
is working. And so they have to try to destroy that somehow or another, because the tariffs are bringing in revenues,
Right.
and they're establishing a trade relationship with other nations,
Right.
which will then lower the deficit.
Yes.
So you see, they see that it's working.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to get in there. It's very important that they sabotage it. And the one way that they've got is the jobs report and Jerome Powell.
Well, can't Trump just fire him?
Well,
He says he can't be fired, but
he says he can't be fired. I think maybe
However-
Trump may be moving to dissolve the Fed. Rather than just firing this
but
one
if
guy.
he can't, we don't have a majority like you just said.
Well,
can we?
if the public,
yeah,
if the public can
outcry.
get, the outcry of the public can be enough, if we can get people to stop watching the mainstream media and educate
take a miracle.
themselves, or maybe start to where the Fed just looks so foolish and so destructive
Yeah.
that he's able to win public opinion,
Yeah.
then he can push the Feds out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
take
there was
miracle.
the pilot that flew, the first guy that Lindbergh that flew across.
The
His
Atlantic.
dad was the senator that said, when the Feds were originally established, that this is how you bring down capitalism.
Yeah.
Is having the monetary system controlled
Yes.
by a private entity. It's a
Oh,
private entity
Yeah.
controlling our dollar, controlling how much you're going to earn and what your wealth is going to be, and all of that
It
is
was
done
all
by
birthed on Jekyll Island, right where I was, not
Right,
too
on
far
Jekyll.
where I grew up. So.
right there on Jekyll Island.
Yeah.
They got together and hatched this
Wicked.
plan. Well, this type of thinking has been around for hundreds and thousands of years. So they
Yeah.
just reinvented it, reapplied it. They knew exactly what they were doing. It wasn't something new. They could go back in history.
Isn't this where we also got the income tax?
Yes,
that
the
started
income.
around the-
Well, the income tax started with the Civil War, but it was advanced and it spread out to everybody. You know, as the Federal Reserve got more powerful, because you needed to have a revenue to cover what the Federal Reserve was doing. It's
Yeah.
like this. In your personal financing, you could earn $100,000 a year, and they don't mind if you pay $100,000 in interest on your credit card, as long as you're making
Long
that
monthly
payment, right? Because they're actually doubling the amount of money.
yeah.
If they loan you $100,000, you're paying back $200,000. So they don't care that you're a slave and that you're going
That's
into
right. Servitude.
servitude. That's the
Yeah.
word I'm looking for. Servitude. They don't care.
They don't care.
Just as long as you're making that payment every
Yeah.
month, they're doubling their money.
Right.
And that's the same thing with our dollar. As long as we have tax revenues, we can double the amount that we're paying back. The problem is it's doubling every 8 years
Every 8
what we have
years.
to pay back. So we're on an endless, impossible to solve, spiraling down situation with the dollar.
Oh my goodness! So that kind of brings us to the next question. I was asking you about Basel III.
Oh, yes.
Why aren't more people? I mean, that went into effect July 1st.
Yes, July the 1st, Basel
And the
III went
banks
into
have
effect.
3 years to
Implement that.
implement it, to back their currency, to back it by the most.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be gold, but really, it really has to be gold.
Yeah, they describe this
Asset.
asset, but really
Yeah.
they're describing gold. So
Right.
gold went from a tier 3 asset on the bank's balance sheet to a tier 1 asset
Right.
as a requirement, and it became Western banks a requirement. Now it was done in the EU, and the British implemented it earlier. But it's a 3-year plan. So you can see that
my
what is
goodness.
definitely coming. And we have many, many ways that we can look at this. But right now we're looking at the Basel III and how the banks are moving towards a gold backing of their assets, because they're holding these treasuries that are actually negative.
Yeah.
They're actually negative. So they're starting to say, wow, we better shore up the banks with gold. We better admit that gold is a store of wealth,
Right.
and it holds its value. And it's been increasing, 10%, over 10% each year. And that goes to show you that the 60-40 plan
Right.
is
Oh, yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
Dead. Ever since the 80s, people have been safely implementing the 60-40 plan.
Yeah.
If you had money and you wanted to invest it in the stock market, you went to a broker and all he did was plug you into the 60-40 plan. The Dave Ramsey, the Warren Buffetts of the world, they figured out this 60-40 plan, and they sold lectures on it, and they
What's
taught
60-40? What's
So
the 60?
60-40
What's the 60 and what's the 40?
The 60 is equity. So you're in the
Okay.
market with 60% of your money, and then you're in bonds with 40% of your money.
Okay.
Okay, and so all that the stockbroker person that you're putting your money in, who gets a percentage, all he was doing was just doing this simple
Plug and
60-40 plan, right? It was a plug and play. And it was very successful for the last
Yeah.
40 years because the bonds were continually going down, which created a higher yield, which made them profitable.
Okay.
So it was a no-brainer. The stock market was going up.
Yeah,
the
it's
bonds
bloated. Oh, my
were
goodness.
inverse.
Yeah.
They're an inverse. So as they're going down, you're profiting off of them going down. Well, now it's turned around the other way, and the bonds have actually started to trend up. And what I'm saying is, what a lot of people are saying, is that the bonds have to start going up, because we've been at this 10 to 12 years of zero interest rate. You just
Yeah.
cannot operate a currency like that. You have to have some income.
Right.
So now we're starting to come off of the floor, and bonds are starting to climb in value. So the 60-40 plan,
work.
right? And these guys have made fun of gold all these years.
My
They
goodness.
called it a pet rock.
Yeah.
They called it a painted rock.
Yeah.
And now it's coming around
It's God's
as
money.
a tier 1 asset. Basel III,
Yeah.
and the banks are clearly buying it because we've seen that it's gone up 1,000 to 1,500 in the last year or two.
Oh my goodness.
So there's got to be something major going on for it to be doubling in value over the last couple of years.
So, we're not financial advisors.
Right, let's make that clear. We're just telling you what we're doing.
However, looking at this,
Yes.
and you say the next 3 years, the banks have to be
Yes.
backed by gold because
Right.
there's really nothing else. Where would you, if you had any kind of 2 brain cells, I'm sorry, where would you put
Yes, yeah.
your money?
Well, it's funny. Look at what's happening with gold, but then look at what's happening with silver.
That's
and how
true. It's coming
there's
up.
100% ratio spread problem that's basically
Right.
never happened in history except for just right now while we're tinkering with things.
Right.
And so what happened? Gold went up $75 on Friday.
Yeah.
Silver, it corrected quite a bit. Rhodium corrected by 4 to 5%. So we see the white metals, platinum, palladium, and silver's going to have its day because they're manipulating it down. And I've talked about how it's a super cycle.
Yeah.
Where silver's coming around to have its day, just like nickel had its day, went up 300% in one day. Rhodium went up, 4 to 5%. Silver's going to have its day. They can only manipulate it down for just so long. They are trying desperately to get it down to $35. And this week, they hammered it really hard again to try to get that $35 number because they've got so many shorts they need to get out of at 35.
And they can't get it down.
They can't. They were not able to do it. And I think next week, if we go above $40, we're going to significantly go above $40 because they'll have to start covering those shorts, which means they have to go into
Sell
the
more,
market and
buy
purchase it
silver
to fill the contract that they sold, which then drives the price higher.
Right.
So we may see $42 here in the next week or so, possibly, if we can get back to the 39, 40. But everything else the horses are all running ahead.
Well, do you think part of that 75 though is a knee-jerk reaction to that stupid report that lady put out?
Definitely. It's a knee-jerk reaction also to the fact that the interest rates haven't been lowered. Right.
Yeah.
And it brought what's called the Mag 7 down, which is the 7 stocks that pretty much carry the entire market. So only 2 of them continued to do okay, but 5 of them severely sold off. So you see people getting out of the market. So there it goes back to the 60-40 thing. It's not really working anymore. You need tangible assets, and I believe you're going to need skills because what's coming is going to be worse than the Great Depression. And so, having tangible assets, when I say that, I'm talking gold, silver, food, commodities in the market, and a house, land situation that you can produce an income on both sides of the economy. If you feel like you have to own property right now, then go out and buy something that you can rent or grow something off of. You don't have to have it right now. And I have to tell this story. Years ago, I owned 12 houses all at one time. I wasn't too stretched out on them.
Before my time.
Yes, but I had these houses, and the monthly payment was like $16,800 a month, and I had them all rented out. Well, the economy turned down, and other things happened, and I had to sell the houses. Well, those people, they're just sitting around with cash, just like Warren Buffett and Dave Ramsey are right now. They're getting into cash,
they're getting into cash
because they're getting ready to take advantage of the people who have gone out and bought some overextended. And they're going to be able to get the bargains.
Yeah.
And you need to be in that situation too, where you've got assets and you're able to take care of yourself and provide an income, and then you can go out and pick up these assets. And the reason is because if you're 30 years old and you're thinking, oh, I've got to have a house, no. You've got to have a paid-for house when you're 50 or 60, because you're physically going to slow down, and you're not going to have that. You're going to, you know,
as we can testify.
As we can definitely testify to. So if you get into a 30-year mortgage and you've got 30 years, and there's a downturn somewhere in that 30 years, you lose your job, or like we've talked about before, black swans and gray rhinos, something happens. Maybe it's better just to rent for a little while, not have to worry about maintenance of a house and the care of a house, the insurance, all that type of stuff, and then save up your cash. You may be 40, but you buy something and pay cash for it, and you're done.
You're done.
For retirement. Where if you're 30 and you commit to a 30-year loan, and you do like I did, the 12 houses, you lose all of them. You end up living out of your truck again
because you don't
at
lose.
40.
You can't lose just one. You discovered that they link them all together.
They did. The banks linked them all together.
And that you think even now, if you've got a house, they link everything.
Yes, you can't have investment property over here, because if you and your house is paid for, and you go out and you invest in something over here, and it goes south, they take the house that's paid for. I had one house, it was almost paid for out of the 12. Well, I lost all 12 houses.
You thought you could hold on
even
to
though
that
it was
one.
at a different bank. It was at a completely different bank.
Goodness.
Right. I had permanent financing on it. And I lost that with the other 12, so there was a total of 12. So the 11 that I thought I was going to lose to that bank, no, I lost the house that was nearly paid for.
Oh my goodness.
In the deal. So you have to be real careful about venturing out. So what I'm saying is, at 30, you can commit to a 30-year loan, and you'll have it paid off at 60. Or at 30, you can save up the cash, and at 40 or 45, you go to an auction and you buy a house and you pay cash for it, and you're done. You've got no mortgage payment at all at 45. You're 15 years ahead of the guy who got a 30-year loan by being patient. Being patient is what I'm saying. And not going out on a limb. Because I always use the expression, you know, these farmers that had these 1,000-acre farms, they lost it because they owed $100. Don't be the person that buys the 1,000-acre farm for $100 instead of the guy losing it.
Oh, it's hard to do that.
It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that. But you have to. You know, and those guys came in when I was losing the 12 houses. You know, they didn't come to buy it from me. You know, I offered it to people. I said, hey, you know, let me make 10,000. Let me make 5,000. No, they waited until the bank had it.
They got it.
Then they got it at what they owed the bank, what I owed the bank. You know, rather than because the bank's not going to hold it. They'll give it out to their buddies, which is what they did. They took the 12 houses from me, and they called their friends up, and they said, hey, just assume the loan. Just so they could get it off the books, because all they wanted was just the payment, because they're doubling their money on the payment. And then the maintenance and the care of the property is on somebody else. Just let me double my money. Wow. I hope that all makes sense. I really
makes sense.
Reeled it out fast.
I mean, a debtor is really a slave to the lender.
Yes, they really are.
Lord have mercy.
They really are. Well, we thank everybody for watching today. Be blessed.
Everybody.
See you in the next video.
Blessings.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.